Good morning, you're eight. Welcome back for term 4. And our new topic this term is going to be about your adolescent relationships. So we're going to be looking at all kinds of relationships and mainly looking at ones that incorporate you in your online world as well as in your day-to-day life. And I know that during lockdown and isolation, we're doing a lot more online than possibly your parents would like, but that's just kind of how life is at the moment. So we're going to be looking at, online technology, like social media and identity that develops during adolescence. And obviously you guys are doing a lot of that in an online platform now. But also, when we're able to get out and socialize a lot more, be back to face-to-face. We're looking at social and communication skills, risks of online identities and relationships, and then strategies for developing good social networks on online platforms. So we're going to start by just having a look at some of the changes that go on during adolescence, because it is a time of incredible change. And you guys would know that. There's a lot of physical changes, there's emotional changes, social changes, cognitive changes, because your brain is rewiring at the moment. So all these neuro pathways that are starting to reform and change connections is happening a lot. So, you'll have days where everything seems to be pretty easy and okay. And then you'll have other days where the tiniest little thing, like someone, whistling, will just set you off and you'll just have a massive outburst. I know it happens in my household. So emotional changes happen a lot. And depending on what hormones are happening in your body, you'll end up with more mood swings. And you'll just sometimes be really sensitive on edge. And then other times you'll just be a pleasant, wonderful teenager that everyone is happy to be around. The social changes that can happen, coming up with who are you really? It's really a big change going from childhood where, you're accepted for who you are and you kind of just tend to play with people and don't even really think about it too much, to all of a sudden, what do I like? What don't I like? I want to be independent, but with that comes increased responsibility, and sometimes the adults in your life don't think you're ready for that. You have a really strong desire to belong, and sometimes that can mean increased risk-taking. So trying to do things that actually help you fit in. So it is just something to be aware of. And then the cognitive changes that happen, these are the things that happen in your brain and in your thinking, is an increase in abstract thinking. So not just accepting everything for what it is and thinking in different ways. Increase in impulsive decisions. So you might just kind of go, you know what? I don't feel like doing that today. I'm going to go and do this, and not really thinking about the consequences that could actually go on down the track. And developing your own values and beliefs. So, what's important to you, and, sometimes that can be contradicting those around you. So lots of things that are going on in your mind and in your body at this stage. So the next thing that we're going to be looking at is relationships in adolescence. So you have a relationship with your parents. So you've come into that family as a baby, growing up, and your parent has had this position of power over you as a child. So they tell you what you should and shouldn't do. And rightly so, they are guiding you through life. And God has actually put them in that position to help you learn the right and wrong of what we need to do in life. And you have also relationships with your friends. And they're a bit more even or flatter in structure. So more equal distribution of power among all participants. And you have relationships with your pets, with your church members, whether it's youth group, pastor. You might be involved in serving in some way as well. Relationships with all these different people, and then you'll have relationships with other people in your community, with school, with your maybe your sporting community, or if you go to an art group, or you might have a part-time job. Maybe you're not quite up to that, but that's something, again, in the future. So even without thinking about romantic relationships, which we're not going to cover we're not going to cover in this topic, but even just looking at how that occurs, lots of changes happen, and heading on over. And it all leads to social independence. So during adolescence, we know lots of change happens, less attention is shown to your parents, and this is just a natural way of progression. And sometimes teens find this hard, sometimes parents find this hard, and we have to find a way of being able to have a win-win with both, where they feel that they can trust you to go on and do things away from family. And part of that is you having integrity. So you being able to say what you're going to do and actually do it, and not do something else completely. So you need to really make sure you have this good element of trust happening. So attention shifts to friends and peers, and that's great. Spend time with them, and it helps in your mental health, in your self-expression, in being able to come up with good decisions to make, because you kind of sometimes have to learn the hard way too of making wrong decisions. But, hopefully that you have been given enough tools from your family in order to be able to know what's right and wrong. So these are things that increase. So just have a think about these. If we were in class, we'd actually have a good old discussion about these. But, what's risk-taking? And why do people take risks? And what type of risks do adolescents take? And, there's good risks and there's not so good risks as well. So we need to think and concentrate on being able to take risks in a safe way, because obviously we don't want to put our health or our safety at risk as part of that. But that's just something that you can have a think about. And when we're back on site, we'll have another chat about it. So it's a normal part of life. It's how we discover new experiences. And you might find that, you head to this age that you're at, that 14, 15-year-old, and things are just not as exciting as they used to be. And that's part of how your brain is rewiring. And that's where risk-taking and experimenting comes in. So it's a normal part of how we develop, and partly because parts of the brain are developing at different rates. So some, again, are healthy, some are not healthy. So we need to just keep that in mind. And peer pressure can have a positive or negative influence on this behaviour as well. So negative peer influences, obviously, health risks, harmful situations. We don't want to end up in jail. We don't want to end up with legal issues happening. And we want to maintain our friendships, so we don't really want to damage them. And then we've also got technology. Trying to get that in the slide. Anyway, this is going to be there for you so you can see. Now, I've written here, now more than ever, we're on devices constantly with remote learning, connecting with friends as we're in lockdown. I was reading on a Australian government website for Victoria, actually, and saying that we shouldn't have more than 2 hours of, they call it, sedentary, so sitting still, screen time, no more than 2 hours a day, not including schoolwork. So after you've done all your schoolwork, shouldn't have more than about 2 hours. Now, I guess some of you might go, oh my gosh, that's a lot. And others would be like, oh, I can't do anything I want to with that. And there's reasons why they're suggesting that. And that's from age 5 to 17. And these are some of the reasons why they're suggesting that, is because more screen time leads to less face-to-face time. Now, at the moment, we're stuck. We can't meet up face-to-face except having a walk or really doing some exercise. Maybe you can have a picnic in the park now. But it increases connectivity with social groups, increases speed of information sharing. I didn't have the internet when I was a teenager. So we had to write letters. We had to pick up a telephone, which was connected to the wall. So there wasn't a lot of privacy. You guys have got so many different avenues for connecting with people now. And reduce spend time interacting with family. So, you need to be mindful of this because it is really important to still connect with your family. And you've got constant entertainment at your fingertips, which means we're constantly always wired, and sometimes it's really hard to disconnect. And I'm sure you've all found that. And we also have to remember from our last term's topic that if we're constantly sitting in front of a device, we're not exercising enough. We're probably not choosing great foods, because sometimes you just want quick snacky things rather than actually eating good nutritious meals. So one thing I'm going to get you to do is a technology audit. So it's literally tick a box. If you find it hard to do it online, you can always print it and then take a photo of it and send it to me. But it's basically just you having a think about how much time you actually spend on these devices. So then also have a think about these questions here. You don't have to answer them and send it to me, but I just want your technology audit. But what's your favorite way to connect with friends? Is it going for a bike ride? Is it catching up at a cafe? How often do you access social media sites? Are you doing it like several times a day? Are you always checking? And which ones do you use? And are they positive ways? Do they affect your relationships with friends in positive ways or negative ways? So the next thing I want you to have a look at is this one here. Whoops. This is what it is. So a technology audit. Pop your name on there, and then it's just asking you what kind of technologies you have access to. Like on here, I would have access to a desktop computer, a laptop, the internet, mobile phone. I don't have an iPad. I don't have Kindle. Yeah, there's an iPod in the house, but that's it for me. And then identify what activities you do on the computer and how often you do them. So, sending and receiving emails, I might put there every time, might take me 10 minutes per session, and I might do that daily, or it might take me more than that. So then there's all these other types of ones, and everyone's going to have things differently. And then whether you play online games and how often you would do that. And then there's another one with doing activities on your mobile phone. And then social networking sites. I've put down Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. I checked with my 19-year-old. Main ones she said that you guys would probably be using. But it'll be interesting. Like there's possibly others that you'll be using as well. And then indicate what information you have available on your social networking sites. Now, I really want you to focus on this, because this is what we're going to talk about for identity and safety in the next few weeks, okay? So fill these in, and then, there's a couple of questions at the end. And send it back to me, and I'll be really curious what you actually are using. So it's just a way for us to introduce this topic and get started. So watching this and then filling in that audit, it's not going to take you too long. All right, see you next week. Bye.